gang. I wanted to do a small multi-part series of videos about active pickups, specifically the ones that I've had most experience with, which are EMG pickups. The reason I wanted to do this was because recently I changed the neck pickup in my guitar from an EMG 81 to an EMG 60. I went on YouTube to try and find some demos and some comparisons to see what the differences between the pickups were. But despite doing about 4 weeks worth of research on YouTube on and off, I couldn't find any really good comparisons. There are a few out there, but they're either pretty poor quality or there's just tons of gain. Whilst I was doing this research, I found there's quite a big popular opinion about active pickups and EMGs and what they're for and what they sound like. You know, they're just metal pickups, high gain rock, they're over compressed, they're not very expressive, they're not very peaky, they don't have that passive pickup vibe. They sound exactly the same no matter which guitar you put them in. I've used EMGs and passive pickups for years. I put my first set of EMGs, it was a pair of 85s, into a 1983 Tokai Talbot. I had a pair of EMGs in an Ibanez RG550. I put a pair of EMGs into a Paul Reed Smith Custom 24, which a lot of people would think is sacrilege. I put a set of EMGs into, well, my dad put a set of EMGs into a Fender Standard Telly. I used that for a few years. And now I'm running EMGs in my Vigia Excalibur, and they sounded different in every guitar. You know, I actually didn't like the sound of them in certain guitars and loved the sound of them in other guitars. Yeah, so today's the first video of this series. They're all going to be relatively short videos, and I'm going to address one of these, what I think is one of these myths in each video. So today, the myth is that EMGs are basically only for hard rock, metal, loads of gain, and they're not very expressive and they're overly compressed and you can't get an organic sound out of them. So I've written and recorded this piece of music. The drums come from the Loop Loft. They're part of the Nate Smith collection, I think his name is, and I'm really pleased with them. I sort of arranged them into this track. I wrote the double bass line to go over the top. So there are 3 main guitar tracks on this piece of music. So the roto-vibey sounds like this. Yeah, and the clean chordal vamp thing sounds like this, big spacious chords. And in the middle, there's going to be a solo. This is all done on the EMGs, 85 and an EMG 60 in the neck. The impulse responses for all of the guitars are a 112 Celestion blue loaded speaker cab, open back speaker cab. EMG 60, you know, is what James Hetfield's used for years. Everyone thinks it's like this iconic metal pickup, and yeah, it does that really well. It tightens things up, but it does a really convincing fat Strat sound if you want that, and that's why I wanted it. You'll hear the Marshall DSL-20. I'm on the clean channel, not pushing the gain too much at all. It's pretty clean, and then I'm just pushing my my signal a bit with the TC Electronics Cinders drive pedal. There's not much gain dialed in on that pedal, but I've pushed the volume a bit and I've turned the tone down a bit, so it's running a bit like a tube screamer. I think this is sort of a clipping clean tone. That's how I would think of this. Albeit I like dirtier sounds than most people like, so you might consider this to be a crunch tone, but I wouldn't. I've deliberately kept it relaxed. There's no showboating going on here, there's nothing flash or fancy. The goal was to show how expressive and organic sounding these pickups can be. And I'm not trying to sell active pickups here, I'm just trying to create a video that somebody might find and say, yeah, that's a nice tone out of that pickup. Rather than it being badly recorded or just have tons of gain on it. So that's my goal. Hope you enjoy the track.